Welcome back. So I've got a collection update today, mostly just a big pile of stuff that's come in the last couple weeks, and I've had some time to listen to most of it. I kind of wanted to get this video out as quick as I could, just because some of the stuff's a little hard to find, and if it's something that you guys are interested in, then you'll have an opportunity to go pick up a copy for yourself while it's still hot. So I wanted to say thanks to everybody who checked out my hiking metal video that I posted a couple weeks ago. Got a lot of good feedback, and I really appreciate it. I definitely have more planned to do for that series. I just have a few things to figure out to hopefully make the process easier next time, as that thing was just a bitch to film and edit. And I shot so much video on that hike, and a lot of it just didn't come out very good, and I had to edit the fuck out of it just to get that, video that you guys saw. So it ended up being a lot more work than I was expecting, but it was a lot of fun still, and I learned a lot from the process, and hopefully next time I'm gonna go a little bit smoother. It's probably gonna be a little while before I have the next one out. I do have some hikes coming up that I'm gonna be doing pretty soon, but they're gonna be some pretty tough ones that I'm just not gonna have the time or energy to focus on trying to get a video for those. So it's probably gonna be a little while, but definitely stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll have the next installment sooner than later. So right now we're listening to Lost Horizon, Awakening the World. These guys released 2 records back in the early 2000s, I think, and then they just disappeared. I'm not really a huge power metal fan. I like a few bands here and there, but I think really nobody, when it comes to power metal, nobody topped this around this time. It's still just fun, catchy, technically proficient, melodic, awesome power metal. This vocalist, I thought he was one of the best. I think he just kind of disappeared. Definitely a cheese factor to the whole concept, but if you have not heard Lost Horizon and you are a power metal fan, this stuff is amazing. Just this whole album front to back. Catchy, just fun, awesome, anthemic, great power metal. So I received my package from Brain Smasher for the Brain Smasher contest, and he sent me a shit ton of CDs, and it's pretty fun. There's some funny stuff in there. Most of it's just like promos and demos that he probably got over the years that he just didn't want anymore. Just trying to clean the shelves and get rid of that stuff. There's a couple of gems in there I'm going to show, but everything else in there, as he aptly put, was or is mediocre at best. So I have not gotten a chance to listen to most of it, and I'm sure that most of it's not going to be that great anyway. But regardless, man, Ben, thanks for taking the time to send all that stuff to me. I really appreciate, packaging it up and shooting it over. There were definitely a couple of gems, so just real quick, just happy to have this. He had an extra copy, so he threw this in there. Death Individual Thought Patterns. This is my second favorite Death record. Really happy to get an original copy of this because I have the Relapse represses that came out not too long ago. I'm not a huge fan of the remix that they did on those, even though they did a really nice job with the reissue. Just glad to have an original copy. And I had this on cassette tape, and it sounds like shit. So, whenever I want to listen to this now, this is gonna be my go-to copy with the original mix. So thank you for that, man. That's cool to have this. Then he also included a couple of bands from New Orleans, Goron Crowbar, which he was saying he's not really a Crowbar fan, which is cool. I'm not a huge fan of these 2 bands either, but I do kind of have a soft spot for them. I never probably mentioned before, but I grew up in New Orleans, Louisiana, lived there for most of my life, so I used to see these bands playing shows all the time when I was younger. Goron Crowbar, who else was there? Solar Green, who was a great band. There was Asabeth, of course, who I actually was fortunate to get to see Asabeth's last ever show at Zeppelin's in Metairie, where I grew up, Metairie, Louisiana. They had gotten a new bass player after Audie died, and they, were saying that they were going to continue. They did that last show, which was killer, and then that was it. That was the end of it. So great New Orleans band, one of the great bands that came out of there, and hopefully maybe one day they'll do something again. I highly doubt it, but Sammy went on to Goat Whore, and Ben from Sonic Green, you know, Soylent Green is pretty much defunct at this point, so this is their main band. This is a good record. I'm not a huge fan again, but I'm glad to have this, and this as well. I've got some of the early Crowbar records. I don't have this one, so glad to add these to my collection. These are a couple of the gems that came in that Brain Smasher package. And then lastly, there was this Bellicore CD. This band, I've kind of heard some of their, I don't even know if they're around anymore, but this is their first full length. This stuff's right up my alley. It's very cool, maybe a bit underdeveloped for what this band became, but still good stuff nonetheless, and glad to have it. So I put in this huge order to Hell's Headbangers. Like I was saying, you know, I wanted to show these so you guys can jump on it if it's something you're interested in, because all this stuff's still available. So yeah, I just put this big order to Hell's Headbangers, bunch of new CDs that I got, and the first band I wanted to talk about this is a Finnish band called Cumin, I think it's pronounced. Finnish melodic atmospheric black metal band. Was just looking at, so basically Hell's Headbangers, they post updates on their Facebook every other day during the week of new stuff in stock. So I usually go check that stuff out. Came across, saw this cover art and was like, whoa, that's pretty cool looking. Checked out a track on YouTube, realized this is right up my alley. So I just added the 3 full lengths that they have currently available to the package that I got here. And this band, wow, right up my alley. Amazing, amazing band. I've never heard of them. I'm surprised I've never heard of them before. Just awesome, depressive, highly melodic, atmospheric black metal. Kind of an early Catatonia vibe, but maybe a little more extreme. This one is called Mustalampi. And this is probably my favorite out of the 3 that I bought. The guy's got liner notes in where he talks about how this is more of a solitary record for him. It's 2 tracks, each like 20 minutes long, epic length. The first song just has that awesome sort of build effect where it starts off with this sort of just foreboding melodic section that sort of builds and builds to this, it starts to get a little heavier, the extreme vocals come in, and it kind of crescendos to this sort of, bright melodic line that kind of continues the rest of the track. Really beautifully done, and I think it kind of fits that whole aesthetic, where you kind of can think about yourself like in a wilderness, somewhere in the middle of nowhere, a wilderness setting like this in the picture. And there's this sort of feeling of dread, sort of dread, loneliness, fear of being stuck out of the middle of nowhere. And then all of a sudden there comes this sort of, realization and joy that actually it's a comfortable place, and it's like you've always been there, or you'll always be there, and it's a sort of feeling that comforts you, that makes you feel that you're a part of everything. And then when that bright melodic section comes in, it's like there's this Zen state of mind that you're, that you reach in this solitude, something like that. He talks about, I experience while walking in the woods whenever I can, drown myself in the vastness of the ageless nature. This is a special occasion, my solitary journey to the depths. Pretty cool. This is a fantastic record, probably like I said, my favorite out of the 3. And the other 2 that I got, this one is called Demon Woods. Kind of similar to the other one, just very sorrowful but uplifting in a way, melodic, atmospheric black metal. This one's similar, it's just got 2 long ass tracks with a little instrumental track in the middle. Most of the lyrics are in Finnish, which kind of sucks, but these CDs they did a nice job with. I think these are pretty limited, so this is a band that you're interested in, you need to jump on these because they're probably not going to last very long on Hell's Headbangers. This band has a lot of stuff. I went and checked out their Bandcamp, and they've just got a shit ton of EPs and splits and full lengths. You know, it's going to take a while to try to delve into, you know, the rest of their catalog. But, you know, if anything, if the strength of these three are any indication, then boy, this is a great band, and I'm surprised they're not more well known. This is the third one that I got, Rautama. This one's fantastic. It's a little more streamlined than the other two. The tracks are a little bit shorter, 6 tracks. Just, when I say streamlined, it's just kind of just more, you know, it's not as, it doesn't have that sort of build effect that the other two records have. Just the songs are a little more straightforward. But this one is just really good, and every song is just memorable. This guy has a superb melodic sense. Those melodies get stuck in my head. Awesome artwork as usual. Cumin Cantaya. Check these guys out. Do not miss out on this. They've got a new record out that just came out pretty recently that I haven't checked out yet, but hopefully I can get a copy of that soon. All right. Next up, this is called Sulfur Aeon. German band. I ended up, these guys have 3 full lengths, and Hell's Headbangers had all 3 of them, so I just jumped. I'm relatively new to this band. Just Lovecraftian, blackened, melodic death metal in the finest form. These guys are awesome songwriters. It's just amazing, catchy, memorable riff writing, awesome vocals. Production is just adds to the whole thing, just dense, atmospheric, melodic, brutal, heavy as fuck. Great shit, man. I bought all 3 of these. I'm still trying to digest all of them. Let's see, this one. Put out by Van Records. Always do a great job on their packaging. They got these cool little slipcases, and artwork just is amazing. Fits that whole Lovecraft theme. Cool lyrics. The one I've listened to the most so far is this new one, The Scythe of Cosmic Chaos. I think this is pretty new. Look at that artwork. Just so cool. You know, what to say about these guys? I mean, you know, their music kind of sounds like, you know, it's kind of like, you know, has some nods to Morbid Angel, definitely Behemoth, Nile, but have their own sound, that's for sure. Riffs really just stand out. I mean, I would say they're better than Behemoth, actually. I just think that their riffs are really memorable. Awesome, just crushing, dense death metal. Guys aren't fucking around, man. Look at that picture. Fucking awesome. You know, there's a lot of bands that do this Lovecraft thing. Most of the bands that do it, I think do a good job. But I think really when it comes to the whole H.P. Lovecraft theme, I think these guys really capture that feeling. If you've ever read any H.P. Lovecraft, you know, the music really just adds to that sort of dense weight of the ocean kind of feel to the entities that Lovecraft writes about. If you've never read any Lovecraft, I would suggest starting with At the Mountains of Madness. That's a good one to kind of give you an intro as to what his stuff is like. Just really cool shit and great concept stuff for metal records. But Sulfur Aeon, great band. I think when it comes to death metal, these guys might be, you know, one of the top bands out there right now. But yeah, these are available on Hell's Headbangers. Pick them up while you can because they're probably not going to last. And then, you know, most of these band records releases are kind of hard to get in the U.S. And end up paying a lot more for shipping if you got to get it from them. So awesome stuff, Sulfurion. All right, next up, this band is called Fulci. The album is Tropical Sun. This was a straight up blind buy for me. You ever buy shit that you see the cover artwork and you're like, well, I don't really care if it sucks, I'm buying it just based off the artwork alone? That's what I did with this one. Scourge of Vinyl showed this off on his Instagram. I had never even heard of it. I saw the cover art and I was like, instantly, I'm buying that no matter what. The reason why is because that cover art, and if you don't know what that is, this is a concept album that is based off of a film that I love called Zombie, or Zombie 2. This is an Italian splatter zombie horror film that came out like in the late 70s, 1979. And, you know, before all the zombie, you know, craze, when zombie stuff became like a household name and part of the culture almost with Walking Dead and all these stupid ass shows that are coming out. Don't get me wrong, I like The Walking Dead. I kind of gave up on it wherever it's at now. It was really good when it started, but I just got sick of it after a while. But, you know, when I was younger, nothing compared to these old zombie films, the whole Romero trilogy. Amazing stuff. This was something that came out around the time and just good fun. I just watched it recently and it holds up. I mean, the special effects and everything that they did before we had all the CGI shit really holds up. I mean, you're not watching this for Academy Award winning acting or production, but it's just good fun and just sick as fuck, really. There's a scene where there's a fight between a zombie and a tiger shark. It's totally awesome. You might even be able to find it on YouTube, but just worth watching this film just for that scene alone. Anyway, this is one of those classics that I hadn't even seen this in a while until this Fulci record came out. So obviously the name of the band Fulci is paying homage to the name of the director, Lucio Fulci. And if you look at the cover art, the whole film takes place on a tropical island, so obviously this is a tribute to that film. Like I said, I hadn't even heard any of this, but I ended up, you know, once I got it, I spun the whole thing. And this is kind of that sort of slam death metal style, which I'm not usually into, but this is actually pretty well done. The riffs are good. The production is good. There's all kinds of awesome, you know, samples from the film that add to the whole thing. It makes it just kind of a good companion to the film. Some of the music, it kind of sounds like Cannibal Corpse to Bleeding. Catchy, but with all the pig vocals, brutal, you know. Just that ultra brutal vocal style. But these guys are from Italy, just like the film is, and man, that's kind of a nice homage to the film. A lot of fun. I like fun shit like this. I may not listen to it too much, but you know, when you do something cool like that, man, you know, I'm all for it. So yeah, check them out, Fulci, Tropical Sun. All right, let's see. Next up, also from the Hell's Headbangers package, this is Serrated Forest with Dismal Spells from the Dragon Realm. This is the guy from Vargrave. This is his dungeon ambient synth project. Dungeon synth, I guess. And this was a blind buy as well. This just came out, so I added it to the cart. What the hell, I like dungeon synth, so, and I like Vargrave, so I figured why not check this out. And honestly, it's pretty good, but I can come up with 2 or 3 other way better dungeon synth projects than this. But it's pretty cool. I need to listen to it a little bit more. This guy from Vargrave seems to put out a lot of music, And honestly, I thought that last Vargrov was a bit overhyped. It's a good record, but it's not nearly as good as the first one that came out, in my opinion. I didn't include that in this update here, but you know, if you like Dungeon Synth, you like Vargrov, this is that guy, and it's pretty cool. It's just not as good as some of the other Dungeon Synth that's coming out lately. But this is available on Hellset Bangers. Check it out. All right, this next one is another Van Records release. This is Arstidir Lifens. Not really sure how to pronounce it. Icelandic band. As always, Van Records killing it with the packaging. This is just pagan, atmospheric black metal, maybe. Everything's sung in Icelandic. I'm not sure the concept of this, but you can tell there's a lot going on here when you look at the lyric sheet. Very well produced atmospheric black metal. Very cool vocals. I don't even know how to describe the vocals. You know, it's black metal, but there's, you know, some clean vocals in there. And I'm not talking like the guys singing in the shower. I mean, this is like really druidic chanting style stuff, maybe. Kind of like what's in that latest Sulphur Aeon, but I think Brain Smasher was talking about this band. I'll jump on anything that Van Records releases. You know it's going to be good. A lot of shit going on in here, man. This is like a 30-page booklet. I need to listen to this a little bit more. I'm not really sure exactly how to describe it, but it's black metal, it's pagan, it's folk, and it's very, very detailed. Very nice gold embossed on the digipack. Arstidir Lifens. All right, I got one more CD. This was from the Hellset Bangers package as well. This is called Winter Moon. This was another blind buy. Canis Dearest showed this on his last video. Sounded up my alley. You know, just good Finnish melodic black metal. The guys in this band play in a bunch of other bands, and I don't know if they ever fully realized this project, because this is just a series of demo recordings called Old Spirit of Polar Night. And just, yeah, really well done melodic black metal. I've really enjoyed it so far. Winter Moon. All right, I've got one vinyl to show, and this, I've been anticipating the hell out of this Falls of Araris, this new Falls of Araris. Anytime these guys come out with something new, I'm just can't wait to get it. And never really sure if they're going to top themselves on whatever they put out next, you know? Because everything they put out is freaking gold. Just one of the best melodic, or I should say atmospheric black metal bands coming out of the US right now. The last record, Vigilance Perennial, I thought was a masterpiece. And this one, they did it again. What can you say? I mean, it's kind of not too much of a departure from what they were doing with the last one. I may not like it as much as the last one, but, you know, over time, I'm sure I'm going to change my mind. These guys just never cease to amaze. They often get compared to Agalloch, which I can kind of see. I guess they operate in a similar headspace as Agalloch. They've got the black post-metal folk similarly to what Agalloch does, but honestly, I don't think they really sound like Agalloch. I mean, I think these guys have their own sound. Whenever I hear just a couple minutes of a song from them, I instantly know it's Falls of Araris. They just sound very unique, in my opinion. Right off the bat, the first half of this record is fucking mind-blowing. The third track, New Inertia, just gives me goosebumps. It's such an amazing song. The second half of the record is not as strong, but still amazing. They actually try their hand at clean vocals on this, just a small track in the middle, which kind of falls flat. But hopefully they kind of get a little bit better at that on the next one, because it would be nice to see them do more clean vocals for this project. But you know, regardless, doesn't take too much away from the record. Just another amazing addition to this band's discography. They never disappoint. I had written a couple other things down about these guys. You know, like I said, yeah, the clean vocals, hopefully they get a little bit better at that. It's kind of weird that they, you know, you can kind of tell, like, in the middle of the track, it sounds sort of like they were kind of unsure of what they were doing, but that's okay. I don't fault them for it. Hopefully they get it figured out for the next one. Patterns of Mythology. Great freaking record, guys. So that's all I got to show for today. I've got some more stuff coming in the mail, so hopefully I'll do another one of these pretty soon. But yeah, guys, all this Hell's Headbanger stuff, get on it, because it's probably not going to last very long, but hope you get yourself a copy. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.